Hi everyone, Tanya with Riley and Company here with another coloring video in our series. This time we're going to tackle our Christmas 2 set. You're going to love it. Check this out. This is our Christmas 2. We have a Christmas 1 and a Christmas 2. All right, this has so many fun little things. It's got little words in it, little Santa suits, got some terrific Santa boots, little sack, so much good stuff. And this is what it looks like when we're done. This is an extremely easy set to color. Now what I do is I always stamp the sets on a piece of paper. This is my original. I spend lots of time coloring my original. Then I keep it in a protective plastic folder that goes into a 3-ring binder, and then I always have it. And I always write my colors down along the side. That way when I want to make a card with this set, I already have it colored. All I have to do is color copy. Yes, thank you. It is a fabulous, fabulous thing. That way, if you want to make 10 cards with this set, you don't have to color it 10 times. You just have to copy it 10 times. And there we have it. All right. This is, of course, part of our Riley Dress Up series. We have 6 cute little animals at the moment. By the time you watch this, we may have added more. So make sure you take a look at the basic dress up animals. Think of it as paper dolls, but with like really super cute animals instead. Again, this is CLR 54, and the matching dies are RD 54. So let's get coloring. This one's an easy one. Let's start with our little bag down here. We are going to grab E33, one of my favorite colors and one of the colors that you use to color Riley. And we're just going to go around the outside of this whole thing, just like this. And then, instead of doing this, see how you get your streaks? We're going to do circles. And what that does is it adds alcohol on top of alcohol, and it's going to blend much better for you. See that? Now you can also use the same marker to give you shadows. Okay, so this is a sack, of course, and it's going to be a little darker on this side. So we're just going to use the same marker, and we're only going to go about that far up. Okay, see how that's going to give me some shadows? And we're also going to do it, or just add a little bit more ink right here. Okay. On second thought, I'm looking at this and I don't like that it is so different. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and color all of it in. And I'm going to pull in an E35 and make my shadows. Okay. Now once I do that twice, I can still come in and add a bit more color in the bottom, and it's going to give me shading. That's why I love Copic markers. They are so great to work with. So go ahead and grab an E35. All right. And I'm going to do just a little bit down here along the bottom and along the back side. See how well that blends? If you just do circles, it's going to blend into all that alcohol ink that you just put on there with your marker. All right, and look at that. We have our sack done. That was easy, huh? Looks like a gunny sack to me. If you don't like this little white area here, just go ahead and use your E33 and come back in and shade it. I like it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's do our green tree. So I'm going to do this with yellow greens this time, okay? So I have a YG07 that I'm going to use and a YG09. So I'm just going to color the whole entire thing in with my YG07. Okay, use my circles to blend it in. And I'm going to use the same marker, and I'm going to come back and just do the bottom half of it. Okay. All right. Then if I use my YG09, I can really come along this bottom half and create that shading. See how easy that is? You can also even come along these little lights. And this is really super cute if you put sequins on these little balls. Now, I'm also, these little PJs, aren't they cute? So cute. All right, I'm going to go back with my first green, my YG07, and I'm just going to make little stripes. I'm going to do a green and skip one, do a green and skip one. Okay. Just like that. And then I'm going to leave it the light color, but I'm going to come back in with the same color, and I'm just going to do some shading with this, okay? So I'm not going over all of it again. I'm just doing a partial bit of it. That's how I get the outsides and the insides to look like they have shadows. Just a little bit on each side. All right, and then these little booties, I'm going to make those green too. Not the bells, but I'm going to make the little booties green. All right, I'm going to come back in the back and just add a little bit more shadowing, just a little shading for the shadows. All right, so we have that. Okay, and the only other green we have is behind our little poinsettia. Poinsettia. All right, now to fill in these little shorts, I decided it would be super cute if we used pink. So I'm using an RVO2, and I am just going to fill in the little white pieces that are left. Isn't that adorable? Now some colors work better than others, but I'm going to use this same color, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with my green and pull my shading in from the outside edges and the inside. Okay, cute, huh? I'm also going to make this little present pink. So we're just going to color it in while I've got my pink marker up. All right, now one of the dress up animals is a giraffe. This is so cute on the giraffe, trust me. Little striped PJs. Okay, so I'm going to bring in an RVO4 because the lighter colors have a harder time shading, that you can't really see it as well. So I'm going to grab a little darker color pink, my RVO4, and I'm going to very gently come in from the outside to do my shading. All right, then I'm going to go back to my RVO2 and blend that out. Just go over it and it'll blend it right back out. See how easy that is? Can you guys see that? How simple it is to blend like that. It's so very simple. So I'm going to go ahead with my present and do my RVO4 the same way, just down in the corner. Because I want it to have shadows too. But I'm going to come back with my RVO2 because it's kind of harsh. And just blend it up. Isn't that simple? Okay. Now we are going to grab a, let's do a yellow. And you know I love my Y18. Y18 is one of my favorite colors. And these are little braids that you can put underneath the hats. A giraffe with braids. Our animals are a cow and a moose. The little basic animals are a cow and a moose, and a possum, and a bunny, and a giraffe, and a fox/raccoon set. And they are so adorable. And you just never know what's coming out next. So by the time you see this, we may have more. So there we go. We have that yellow done. I also am going to do the Santa suit buckle. Nice and yellow to be gold. And his little boots yellow. Boot buckle yellow. And I do believe that we have everything yellow that we need. Nope. We're going to make this yellow too. Okay. Now I'm going to set that down and bring in my Y38, which is a fabulous color to use on the yellow shading. So I'm going to go around the outsides and down along the bottom of this, and the same with his buckles for his boots. And I'm just going to go behind the little braids on this and along the inside. There you go. And just along this edge. And then down in the darker parts of that. And now we have everything shaded. I don't know if that's very easy to see. See how wonderfully these two colors, Y18 and Y38, go together? All right, I want to do, let me get the little bells on this too. All right, so now all we have left is the red, which I am going to use an R27 to color his hats. And fair warning, ours can be a little bit of a bear to work with. I don't know what it is about the pigment with an R color. I try to do them last when I do them, because if you touch it with another color, it will bleed. They always do. It just drives me bananas. So now let's go ahead and do these on his little suit. And be very careful coming around this edge. And then I'm going to do circles to fill that in. Alrighty. I'm going to make his little buttons red. And come it this way. I'm not sure I've ever made it through coloring something with a red to where I didn't go outside the lines or mess up somewhere. Alright. Now I'm going to use the same red, and I'm just going to come back over the body of his suit and these, and just back over this to give it some shading. You can use a darker red if you want, but there's not really enough red on here. If you would like to, you can. You can use an R27 to go back in, but I think that that turns out just fine. Right? Okay. Now, oh, see where I messed up? That is why we always have a white pen, but in this case, his belt's going to be black, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, right? So let me show you how to do, let's do his little beard. This is so cute. This little spot right here cuts out with a die. It is hilarious, so cute. But anything red, you can either use a C1 to create shadows in your white, or you can use a B000. So for this one, we're going to use B000. And this is just a little puff ball. So I'm going to add a little color there. I'm going to add a little color here. And it's funny, when you add some blues, your mind gets tricked into thinking it's a white. I don't know psychology, don't know how that happens, but it does. And I'm really grateful for it. So there we go. Just add a little bit of blue and you got some color in that beard. Okay, now let's do the final spot, which is his boots. And this is what the boots look like. And they look very difficult to do, don't they? But they're not. I'm going to show you the easiest way. Notice where the shading is on the inside, because that's where it's always going to be, on the inside. So we're going to start with a C4, and we're going to give it some color. And the whole boot is going to get that color. And I'm going to give it just a little bit more color, again with the same marker, just on the inside behind the buckle and underneath the cuff. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this boot. Just like that. I'm going to come back in with the same marker. I'm going to give it a little bit more color, just on the inside. Okay. There we go. So see, it's already starting to get a little bit of shadow, right? Oh, let's go ahead and do his belt as well. All right. So now we're going to take our next C color, which is going to be 6. You can also, if you don't have the sketches to do the C4, C6, C8 that I'm going to use, you can use C5, C7, C9, which are in the chows. These are in the sketches. Okay. So we're going to just work underneath now. Okay. And around the backs. All right, and down on the sole, because the sole is going to be the darkest color. All right, now it's starting to take shape. Just a little bit up here, not much. All right, a little bit on this side, not a lot. And when you're doing shading, less is more. You can always go back over it, but you can never take it away. You can try with the colorless blender, but it doesn't work very well. And then underneath his boot, he's always going to have a little bit darker. I'm going to come back in with the same marker and do it again. And that's the trick, is using that one marker as much as you can to get as much shading as you can. There we go. All right, same with his belts. It's going to be a lot out here. Not all of it. I'm going to leave a little bit of that light gray space, but for the most part. Okay, so that was my second gray color. So you can either use 3, 5, and 7. You can use 4, 6, and 8. I just used 3 in a row. Now with my darkest color, I'm going to be very, very careful. I'm only going to do the sole, but not all of it. All right, I'm going to do underneath the cuff of the boots, the whole way across, and very carefully I'm going to do the back side. Just a little baby line and maybe a little bit on the top. And that's how we do boots. Look at that, cute, huh? I think I'm going to make this inside dark as well. Okay, now with his buckle, or with his belt, I'm only going to use this color and go around the outside. And the two darkest in the back, and just a little line coming in the little holes there. Okay, and his little buckle. Might need a couple little spaces in here. Alrighty, and look at that. That's how easy it is to do this set. All right, now you have an entire set. This fits perfectly on here. Okay, you can make a little elf with pigtails that's in little spandex shorts. You can do all kinds of stuff. Just remember, this is your original. If you want to add some white to it, I love using my white pen to add highlights. So we used our darkest gray to add the shadows. Now I'm going to show you how to use a white pen. If you just come along where you can imagine that the shine would be, like on his boots right there, right? Maybe a little over here. This is something you use very sparingly. Just tiny, tiny bits. Okay, if you're going to leave these black like this, maybe put a little shine on each one of those. But use your white pen with a lot of moderation. Okay, and then when I do it on a surface like this, I generally try to just use a light hand and 3 or 4 little dots that follow down. You guys see that? Okay, that's it. This is set CLR54. It is our Santa Claus 2 sets. And I am Tanya with Riley & Company, and this has been another coloring video with Tanya. I hope to see you next time. Take care.